Alright, let's talk about the next ninja feature, flow sanity and flow validation. Traditionally, when you're doing a data flow deployment, you might have taken, let's say, a downtime. So you have a specific downtime window in which you are executing that data flow deployment. Imagine at that time, if some error comes up, you have deployed data flow, and when you start the data flow, you are missing some credentials, or maybe they were incorrect. Maybe you forgot to open a firewall port. So you need to have the other team also involved, and you have to fix that error within the downtime window. This can create a panic situation because you have a fixed window of time, right? How DFM can help over here? DFM will identify any missing credentials, any missing errors for that deployment beforehand, so that when you are doing the deployment at that time, there is no error in the deployment and it goes perfectly smooth. This is the power of flow sanity and flow validation. Alright, let's see how flow sanity works within DFM now. I click on to deploy. I select my data flow. Okay, everything as earlier. I click on continue. Over here, let's say deliberately I'm making a change, right? I am changing this parameter context to a incorrect value. Okay. All right. This data flow requires, this is a file transfer data flow. It requires an input directory to be available. I have deliberately changed that value to an incorrect value. Let's see what happens now. Without DFM, this would have led to an error which would have been caught only after deployment was done and the process flow started. Then someone would have to go through the logs and identify the error and then come back and fix that error. Okay, this could have taken maybe a few hours, maybe a couple of days, but it would not have been known unless a DevOps person or NiFi Ops person actually has raised. This would have taken certain amount of time before the NiFi Ops person realizes that there is an error in this deployment. He would have to go and validate and check in the logs and then come back and identify what was the error and then fix this issue. Okay. With DFM, let's see how this can be captured in real time. Okay. So I click on continue. I have this option of sanity check and deploy. Okay. I select this checkbox and I ask DFM to do the deployment. DFM asks me for confirmation. I click on confirmation. And now we will see DFM will do the sanity check and it will identify the errors in that deployment before it actually goes live. Alright, over here we can see DFM correctly identified that there is an error in this deployment, and it has given me exact error also, that this component has this directory which is invalid because it does not exist. Okay, so DFM has identified this error. Let's go and check in DFM now. So I click on process group details. I go into DFM. In that process group, I go to sanity validation report. Over here, I can see all the errors which DFM has identified. And let's go and fix those errors now. Like I said earlier, this was a deliberate intentional error. So let's go back and correct that directory value. Okay. So I'll just go and correct it. Okay. And I click on to save. I click on to save again. My value is saved. I go back to sanity again and I can now rerun the sanity. So I fixed that error and I am asking DFM to rerun the sanity check. Okay. So let's do that. Alright. This time the sanity check is green. That indicates that I have fixed all the errors in my data flow deployment. I do not need to worry about any errors when I launch my flow. Okay. That is the power of DFM. Okay. This was about flow sanity. Let me also show you quickly what we call as flow validation. So we have this flow analysis over here. Okay. What it does is, so we can create certain standardization rules against which DFM will validate all of my data flows. You can create these rules also on your own. So I have certain rules which are already created. These rules can help me ensure that all the process which I'm trying to deploy, they follow my organizational guidelines, my organizational best practices for NiFi. So let's say I want to validate this file transfer flow against that. What I do is I click onto flow validation and I can select certain rules against which I will validate this flow. So let's say I want to validate against, couple of these rules. Okay. All right. I selected 3 rules. I click on to validate flow. DFM does a quick validation. It tells me that there is no issue in any of these. That means my flow is as per my NiFi best practices. The best part is you can create more such rules and you can have your data flows validated every time when they are being deployed against these rules. Hope you like this feature. I will be covering more features in the coming videos.